work at networks such as CNN and MSNBC, a lengthy background in television. And actually, I am definitely interested in having my own show on the OWN network. I think I can provide a fantastic platform with my background and my experience. I basically want to have a show that caters to all different genres of news, whether it's social, economic issues, political, environmental, societal, community, entertainment, fashion. I want to pretty much have a show that can run the gamut from A to Z. Basically, an international spotlight type of show. It's basically the vision that I kind of have for myself on my television show. I'm working on a plethora of different avenues right now, and business opportunities and a plethora of different things. And one thing that I'm actually focused on business-wise is the whole safe texting campaign. I know how Oprah is all over the no phone zone and people driving, without utilizing their phone, and that's a great platform. And I really think that we can provide a way for people to utilize their phone, but in a safe way, because I just don't think people are just going to stop and put their phones down or what have you. So I have an idea for a concept of a show focusing on safe texting and the technology that allows you to text and email and talk on the phone all hands-free via a headset. These are actually just some of the T-shirts for our campaign. Do you practice safe text? So that's the mantra. Basically wanting people to practice safe text. It's actually a logo on the back with somebody with the phone in their hand, basically showing people not to do that. So basically, that's an example of an aspect of a show that I would want to focus on. It's a community-based driven event. We all know it's an epidemic. It's a topic that needs as much exposure as possible, because people are driving, and texting while they're driving and not paying attention to the road. And it is an issue right now, so that is an episode I would want to touch on my show. But like I said, I think that my show would stand out because I think I could offer a variety of topics from A to Z. I have a plethora of different interests, different things I like to discuss and talk about. And I think my background working in the television industry and being exposed to working in news on an international level at networks such as CNN or NBC have kind of exposed me. I've pretty much seen the gamut of news as far as being at CNN when 9/11 occurred, and seeing how busy it could be at a news station, seeing how international news is constantly running on a ongoing basis. Segments are changing, news is breaking because it's on the move and it's on the go. And also I've been exposed to such as the entertainment side, as far as seeing shows that are related to fashion and movies and the entertainment aspects. So basically, my vision is pretty broad. It's very diverse. It would really run the gamut from A to Z. Once again, my name is Madinah James. Please vote for my own show on the OWN network. Thank you.
Okay. Go.
Hello, my name is Madinah James. I am a television producer. I have a 10-year background in news, working in networks such as Court TV, Turner Broadcasting, CNN, and MSNBC. I was actually a production coordinator at CNN during 9/11. I worked for Moneyline with Lou Dobbs, a particular show that was on CNN at the time. I was exposed to a lot of different international news, on-the-minute news, a lot of different things occurring. It was a groundbreaking world event that occurred. So my horizons were pretty much broadened as a result of working at CNN at the time. After I left CNN, I actually went off to MSNBC, and I started producing, tape producing, as far as working on obtaining footage for the various news shows on Saturday and Sunday. I was working the overnight shift, pretty much honing my skills, honing my writing skills. I started segment producing, started writing some segments for the Saturday and Sunday morning news, and started editing my own pieces. So I really got to have a first-hand experience as far as really being in the news on an ongoing basis, especially once again at a time, in history, and then just in the world where there was so much going on. At that point, the war had just started right after 9/11, so the Iraq War. So there was so much going on at the time. Once again, like I said, just breaking news, something new every day. Everything is by the minute. You have to be on point, on your toes. 14-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts. So that's pretty much been my life for for the past 12 years. I actually took a break from television, wanted to actually fall back for a minute, just get my bearings together, then get my thoughts together. And I started working for a continuing education course that, a continuing education organization that actually traveled across the country with both real estate speakers, some celebrities. So it was a little bit different from television, but pretty pretty much was still a way for me to hone my skills or what have you, my entrepreneurial skills outside of television. So I've always kind of had that bug, always wanted to kind of like, you know, be out in the forefront. When I took a break from television, I started doing other things like, you know, in the financial world and, you know, with the real estate speakers and things like that. My goal has always been to get on camera and do reporting, do on-camera reporting. Like I said, I've been behind the scenes in television for so long, just honing my skills as far as writing, editing and things like that. And I've always wanted to be in the forefront because I always felt like I had a voice to be heard. You know, I always felt like I had something to convey to the world, always had, you know, something to be said, always felt that I had the ability to convey it in a way that it could relate to people. Like I said, working at networks such as CNN and NBC, I've been exposed to international news, but I also have a love for other type of news such as, you know, creative news, fashion, entertainment, political news, community news, social economic issues like political issues, all things that pertain to what's going on in the world today, because to be an effective citizen in this world today, you have to be able to know what's going on effectively around you in the world in all different genres, whether, like I said, it's politics or whether it's knowing how to get your credit, you know, on track, knowing how to get out of debt in a certain time frame, knowing the type of political party you should be supporting for the type of lifestyle you're living, or what type of platform you're trying to create for the future for your kids, environmental issues, just knowing what's going on in the world around you and how that world's going to be 30, 40, 50 years from now for your kids. Just society issues, political issues, community issues, what's going on in the community around you, what's important right in your backyard, in your neck of the woods, because you're living in that community, you want to be abreast of what's going on. So I always felt like I had an ear and an eye to be able to convey that to people on a national platform. Like I said, even with, you know, with fashion and entertainment, I've always had a love for, you know, entertainment and fashion. I always was a newsy person. I was always called Hedda Hopper when I was younger because I always knew what was going on as far as, you know, entertainers, you know, what was going on with television shows. I just kind of had a photographic memory. So I have an interest on that side too. So basically I see myself having a national show or a platform where I can talk about a diverse plethora of various issues and pretty much from A to Z, and to effectively be able to convey that news to the public. And that could be bringing in all types of guests that pretty much touch on all these topics. Like I said, whether it's what's going on internationally, you know, overseas and or national on these waters, whether it's political, whether it's socio-economic, whether even if it's, you know, religion or spiritual issues, you know, how people survive day to day, living lives day to day and having some type of spiritual grounding, and how, you know, how the different religions or, you know, spirituality issues, you know, how, you know, people convey that, you know, what makes, you know, a certain type of religion or spiritual, you know, culture that you follow better maybe for you than something, you know, else for someone else. So, you know, I basically want to have a platform where I can touch on various issues. For instance, I'm working with a company right now called Financial Destination. The acronym is FBI, but it's basically a financial powerhouse showing you how to get your financial house in order. That's one of the issues I just touched upon when I talked about economic issues. You know, you want to know what's going on as far as your credit is concerned. You want to be able to find out how to get out of debt. You want to be able to create avenues for yourself where you could create multiple streams of income, and also, you know, create a home-based business because of the economy and the times that we're living in right now. And I can definitely speak to this because of the type of industry I've been in, working in television. It's been flighty, you know, it's had its ups and downs. I've had to, you know, think out of the box and forge an entrepreneurial spirit. So like I said, Financial Destination is basically a company that focuses on your financial well-being. You know, like I said, from credit to debt, whether it's, you know, travel, what have you know, pharmacy, you know, dental. You know, it's basically an overall wellness company. And right now we're touching on a platform as far as promoting safe texting. We know how it's an issue right now, you know, people being on their phones, you know, trying to make phone calls and text while they actually are on the phone while they're driving. You know, it is a national epidemic. People are doing it on a daily basis. You know, since the whole cell phone industry, you know, has gotten exposed to people, you know, we're, as a whole, as people, we've gotten, you know, spoiled, you know, being able to have these phones accessible to us in every aspect of our lives outside of our home. So we know how people such as Oprah Winfrey are touching upon the whole texting and the people texting and driving, and, you know, she wants people to sign a no phone zone campaign because it is such an issue. And I'm grateful to somebody like her for bringing a platform to an issue such as this. As far as Financial Destination is concerned, we have a product right now called Kylie, which is a voice